Hey up. Strange times we're living in, ain't it? I hope you're all staying safe. Washing your hands, 3 happy birthdays and all that. Course, for now the pub's closed. But don't worry. All being well, it'll be business as usual before long. And due to the technical wizardry of the tinterweb, you can still have a right good natter. Got to keep yourself entertained after all. Only so long you can stare at the same 4 walls before you start getting a bit twitchy. Which reminds me, I got an email from one of my old patrons the other day. Well, I say an email, more like a string of them. Gone right to spam they had. Only happened upon them today, completely by chance. Google says I'm running out of space or some such. Anyway, as I was saying, they were from an old patron, a Mr. George Castaigne. Used to own a second-hand bookshop on the High Street, Castaigne Books. Shut up shop back in 2018 on account of being left a considerable inheritance by his great aunt Ursula, including her cottage in the small Essex village of St. Osyth. On receiving the news, he'd been quite taken aback. He'd barely known the woman. His only clear memory of her being an encounter with her at his grandmother's funeral back in 1991. He'd only have been about 10 at the time, and from what he remembered, she'd been somewhat terrifying in aspect. Tall and gaunt, with long white hair that flowed from beneath a mourning veil that looked about a century past fashionable. To his young mind, she looked like so many witches, conjured from the imagination of the likes of Roald Dahl and C.S. Lewis. Didn't help that the rest of the family seemed to give her a wide berth, something that Castaigne noted seemed to amuse her greatly. Anyway, I digress. Despite his lack of familiarity with his great aunt, Castaigne weren't going to turn his nose up at the prospects of a new start in a picturesque English village. I mean, who would? Especially one within spitting distance of a nice sandy beach. In all honesty, I didn't think I'd hear from him again. But it seems I may have left a lasting impression on him. Though what he thinks I can do about his current circumstances, I can but wonder. Whatever the reason, the emails allude to something quite troubling, and I only wish I'd have received them on the first instance. Maybe then I'd have been able to do something. The initial correspondences are innocuous enough. George in fact seemed in high spirits, albeit a little lonely and at a bit of a loose end. Sent between the 23rd and the 27th of March 2020. Hey up, Jack. Don't know if you remember me. It's your old mate George Castaigne. Used to run the old bookshop on the High Street. Came in most evenings. Anyway, I remember you saying the night before I left for St. Osyth, don't be a stranger, you know where I am if you need out. Well, I know it's been about 2 years now, and I haven't exactly kept in touch. But being cooped up alone in this cottage, with the pub closed, got me thinking, wonder how Jack's getting on through all this. Bloody strange times we're living in, mate. Never thought I'd see the like. Bars closed, social distancing, bloody line outside of the Spar when I go pick up my morning paper. Bloody weird it is. I hope it's not hitting you too hard, mate. Can't be easy having no custom. I'm lucky in that regard, not meaning to brag. I set up as an online bookseller to supplement my aunt's inheritance money. www.castainbooks.co.uk if you're ever in the market for a first edition of something unusual. I do a good trade, mainly in rare out-of-print books. For example, got hold of a first edition of A Christmas Carol mid last year, hidden amongst a private collection. 500 for the lot, bloody steal. The Dickens alone was worth double that. Felt like that nasty bugger from The Ninth Gate. You seen that film? With Johnny Depp. Anyway, I'm rambling. Hope you're well, Jack, and not getting too stir-crazy. Don't be a stranger. Second email, sent March 25th. Jack, how at? Don't reckon you picked up my last message. Check your spam. Just kidding. You're probably busy with something or other. No doubt deep in some project. Ever the man of eclectic interests, if I remember right. Well, it's gone a bit P-tong here. Boiler's on the fritz. Got it just about working, but I don't reckon it's long for this world. Hopefully it holds up before the end of this lockdown. That said, it's not all bad. Whilst up in the loft trying to resuscitate the damn thing, came across this wooden chest, full of books, old ones at that. Seems Aunt Ursula was a bit of a collector of esoteric tombs. Not had time to go through them all yet, but if I turn up anything interesting, I'll let you know. Don't be a stranger. Third email, sent March 27th. Well, Jack, you must have your nose right to the grind. Either that or my communications are boring the tits off you. Well, turns out great Aunt Ursula's little collection was a bit of a treasure trove. The most recent of the volumes being from 1920. Most of them are occult in nature. Can't really make head nor tail of them. It's quite funny actually. I always thought there was something a bit witchy about the old dear. Maybe I wasn't far off the mark. However, one book in this strange collection caught my eye immediately. And as much as it seemed to be in a state of disrepair, whereas the others were all immaculate. Singed and burnt on the edges it was, as if it had been thrown into a fire, only to be hastily retrieved seconds later. The King in Yellow. The name rings a bell. Seem to remember reading about it on some top 10 most censored list. I think it was number 2 or something like that. Well, with publicity like that, it'd be a crime not to read it, wouldn't it? I'll let you know if it lives up to its reputation. Remember, don't be a stranger. The following email seemed to take on a somewhat more frenetic tone. Seems the isolation had begun to affect him. Jack, answer your bloody emails. Barely spoken to anyone since this whole thing started. Oh, by the way, the King in Yellow. Barely coherent tribe. From what I can gather, some kind of fantastical play. Couldn't make head nor tail of it. Like some Dunsanian fever dream. All black stars and strange moons, and incessant ramblings about some place called Carcosa. Oh, and of course, the ephemeral King in Yellow himself, lurking about in tattered robes. God knows how this drivel got published, let alone censored. I'd have left it to burn. Save myself the singed fingers. Anyway, hope you're well. Don't be a stranger. Email sent April 1st. Me again. I'm sure you'll see these at some point. What am I there? There's a damn wasp nest somewhere. Got woken up by 2 of them this morning, buzzing round the bedroom. Is it even the time of year for them? Day went steadily downhill from there, of course. While standing in line to go into the local shop, this great brute in a padded yellow high-vis jacket bumbled into me, his face covered by this pale respirator kind of mask. He stank, this musty mix of cheap booze and tobacco. Stood right next to me, definitely not recommended distance. I politely asked him to move back a few metres, but he just stood there leering. Thank goodness my wait to go in wasn't that long. I got what I needed and left. Don't reckon I'll be going out again, for a while at least. Speak soon. Don't be a stranger. Email sent, April 4th. Jack, could really do with some friendly words, mate. All this silence is getting to me a bit. No one seems to be answering their phones or messages. Still can't find that damn wasp nest. There were 4 or 5 of them this morning. Big buggers. Not seen wasps like these before. White on yellow, with maggot pale faces. Bet it's some new species. One that's double hard to kill. Be just my luck, that would. I saw him again today. That brute in the high-vis coat. Passed him on the way to the shop. Yeah, I know I said I wouldn't go out, but I needed stuff again. He was at the end of my street this time. Smelt him before I saw him. Don't know what business he has round here. Some vagrant, no doubt. Right air of stranger danger about him. He had the audacity to incline his head as I passed, as if we were acquainted. Find such familiarity unsettling. Please respond, Jack. You said it yourself. Don't be a stranger. Email sent, April 6th. Well, that old don't be a stranger was bullshit, wasn't it? All pally-pally just as long as I'm sipping down your house special piss. Doubt you'll read this, but I just want you to know I'm fine. Like I'm stung half to death because of them damn wasps. There was a carpet of the little yellow bastards crawling the length and breadth of the ceiling this morning. Buzzing, always buzzing. The nest may elude me, but by God, I shall rain down fire upon it before the end. And as for that tramp, that high-vis brute in the yellow jacket, he shall not soon return. Quit him standing looking into the cottage from the other side of the road. Those piggy little eyes of his. Went out to confront him, didn't I? Who are you, I says, who are you? Take off that mask, take off that mask. I don't wear a mask, he says, I don't wear a mask. I wear no mask. Unmask, unmask. That's when the police turned up, and I was ordered back into the cottage under threat of caution. To hell with you all, you're all strangers now. The final email is the most troubling. I have since tried to contact those close to Castaigne, but alas, despite their own repeated attempts to get in touch, their efforts have been in vain. The final email, sent April 9th. Why don't you answer, Jack? Truly, I'm alone. Save the wasps, that even now crawl from every crack and crevice. My flesh, it burns, scourged by so many stings. I can barely breathe. What vile pestilence do those pale barbs secrete? He's here too, ever at my shoulder. The man in yellow, he won't unmask. You can't unmask. It is no mask. No mask. No mask. He wears no mask. I've heard nothing since. I truly hope he's alright. And someone managed to get in touch with him. Just goes to show, it doesn't hurt to just pick up the phone and have a nice little natter. Be safe.
Oh.